How you doing, everybody? Today we're going to be painting Yosemite National Park, about was it 7 hours from Los Angeles. Took a drive up there a couple months ago. Took a lot of photos, and today I'm going to paint one of those photos, a waterfall, in fact, and we'll see how we do. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching Painting California. Today we're going to paint one of California's most majestic places, Yosemite National Park. Just going to try to get all the shapes laid out first, like I like to do. We're going to get a waterfall here in the middle, surrounded by trees and a little stream at the bottom, or what used to be a stream. It's mainly just boulders now because when I took the photo it was during the winter time. We got trees, so one big tree. So I imagine this waterfall is gushing more in the spring and summertime, but I went in the winter time, so it was just kind of trickling. Here's some of the boulders. They're going to take up a lot of the foreground of the painting. I'll try to pencil in some of the big wooden structures, trees, tree trunks, just so I can have an idea of the layout. Now we're going to box in a lot of the colors. I got to start with the sky. Little cloud there. Hard to see now, but you see this is the only part of the sky you'll see is that top portion. We're going to have a little bit of color to it too. I think I'm going to go ahead and add some of that now. I'm anticipating a little bit of a sunset color, even though it wasn't sunset when I was there. Just add a little bit of pink. I'll try to blend that in just a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and get some of that mountain punched in right here. We'll add a little trickle of the waterfall just so you get an idea of where it'll be. I won't have it that blue, but right now just so we can see where it's coming from. It's right over that ledge. And then this is where water would be trickling through. I'll put a little bit in just to imagine it for now. I'll put this part of the mountain a little more brown than I want to, but I'm going to come in there with some white and a little bit and add some formations. I think that'll be nice. Formations of the rocks. So it's going to be a little brighter with the sun setting. this upper part. Make sure that goes on this side as well. I think if I add this like kind of yellow color underneath, once I add the white to kind of brighten up, show the sunlight, that'll still pop through, give it a little nice golden feel. Our eye is going to be drawn right to this center of the water. Now we're going to add some of these. I'm going to use a little purple to get some of these shadows here. Bear with me. It's going to take a little while to lay things out, but it'll all come together at the end if you have patience. All right, here's our add some of that white. A little turpentine to thin that color out and just keep it going down the mountain. More blue in that corner, right? Missed that part. Clouds kind of disappeared when I added those other colors, so let's poof them up a little. Okay, a little bit of the waterfall now. Let's get some of the shadows underneath. Since we have some purple on our brush already, I'm going to add a little blue, a little brown as well. Get kind of where the water ends, where this tree line is going to trickle in right down here. Sure said trickle a lot, haven't I? So we use some of these darker colors to kind of show where our shadows will be. It's going to be our tree branch. A little more turpentine right there, the back side of it. A little bit of that tree in the trunk, right? That'll kind of blend with some of these other colors. fallen tree. Add a little brown so it doesn't look like it's a rock, because that's what we're going to put in next, some of the stones. A giant boulder right here. Get some of the shadows, make another smaller rock here. Smaller, smaller, smaller. Don't mind the sound of that doggy toy. A lot of dogs in this neighborhood. It's a weekend, so a lot of people are outside playing. Just adds to the environment, right? So we're to the tops of some of these rocks down here in the lower portion. Get smaller as we go. Start off big and work their way a little smaller. I'll go in with a smaller brush in a little bit, but I just want to get some of the colors laid out. A lot of stones down here. There are a lot of boulders here in this picture. So I have to make some sense of it. This fallen tree, right? I hate seeing all that white. Let's get rid of it. All right, let's bring some of that gray up the side of the mountain. Too much turpentine. All right, it's looking like a mountain. Kind of a boring mountain, but we're getting there. Let's add some more of that color. I think once we add that other green from the trees kind of on the sides, that'll really help the painting come alive. All right, now we're just doing the important but kind of boring part. Just getting everything in position. All right, I don't think I like that color in the sky. Let's get more blue. Let's kind of blending in with my mountain. Some similar colors. So let's don't make it similar. Let's go ahead and get a different color blue. Kind of separate it from the waterfall color. It's a little darker, but I'll lighten it up soon. I don't necessarily have a rhyme or reason. I'm just going with my instincts. I'm self-taught. I'm doing this for over 25 years and learned a lot on my own. But just trying to go with the flow of the colors and see what comes natural. I've learned that teaching myself how to paint, I have a little more unconventional style. My paintings look a little different than most people's. You know, I go to paint alongside other artists out plein air painting, and they all have been trained by the similar styles at the universities, and their pictures always ended up similar by the time we're all done. And mine usually stands out and looks a little different. I'm not saying it's better. It's just had to find my own way, so I developed my own style. All right. Okay. About ready to switch brushes. Maybe I'll add some my green portions first before I do that. Clean off my brush real well so that blue doesn't blend with my green. Alright, just like anytime you start with your dark colors, and then we can bring out and layer the brighter colors on top. Okay, so I'm going to start a little darker than I usually do, just for the dramatic effect of the forest. I'm going to use not very much turpentine so that it'll sit on these other colors. Just a dab because it's getting a little too thick. Okay, I'm gonna have, looks like it's gonna go pretty high. We're gonna have another tree coming up here. See how that white's starting to get on my green? I'm gonna go back with a little darker color. Bigger, fatter trees, that's going to have some bigger, fatter colors. Just getting the shapes of the trees in on one side. little darker down here. Let's go over to the other side. I think we're going to put another tree up in this corner. Add some more color there. These branches are dripping over. Smaller branches kind of hanging over. A little more foliage. Foliage. A little bit of green down here. There's some grass growing under the shade here of that tree. Okay, I'm going to switch brushes here. And I think I might move my camera a little bit because we're starting to get a little shade here. So let's move my easel. I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. See how that pops back in the light? Okay. Add a little more turpentine while I'm stopping here. Let's define this where the sky ends and the mountain begins. A little more. That's what we do when we add smaller brushes to the mix. Is when we get all of our detail. All right, let's get some of these rocks laid in a little more. Big stones. Sun's gonna be hitting right there on that side, right down here, peeking through. So it can be lighter on this side of the rock, stone, whatever you want to call it. Slow and steady, right? You don't have to define all the stones, but just kind of towards the front, it'll be the most visible. All right, I'm getting kind of bored with this color. It's white and gray nonsense. So I'm going to add some yellow in there. A little red, an orange color. Okay, let's define shadows on this tree trunk. It'll help counterbalance all the stuff we just added. Okay, adding some life to it, but I think we need some branches and some lighter green. So let's get some of these branches in. So we're gonna have branches, filtering in, right? You can't have leaves without branches. Sure as hell can't have enough dog toy noises, right? Jesus. All right, this painting's taking me a little longer than I wanted to, so we're gonna kind of go hyper speed here. twigs, right? Gotta have some branches and twigs down at the bottom. Brush. Just add different layers. All right, so we're getting our shadows in. Man, is that, again, the sun's moving. Might have to keep moving too. All right, see, that's another reason why I have to hurry up. I'm losing light. And everywhere I move is making it harder for me to stand. Told you there were a lot of dogs in this neighborhood. All right, so what I'm wanting to do is make sure I get, even if I don't get it perfect, I want to get the feeling that I felt when I was there. Right, that's what we're trying to transfer. Darker right here underneath the canopy. I think usually I think I say this a lot, usually I don't use that much black, but I think this will make the waterfall stand out a little more if I do. We're going to get the side of the tree, have a little more shade. I think I added a little too much there. Let's bring it back, take it away from the waterfall. I do too much movement on the mountain itself. Okay, now let's bring in, before we run out of light, a little brighter green to kind of highlight some of these leaves. Mostly on the ends there. top of the canopy, the tree there. Right, getting a little bit of that sun. Patch of sunlight coming through right here. All right, let's go back. Get some of these brighter parts of the rock. It leads back there to the water, right? All right, let's take a step back, see how it's looking. Not too bad. Let's get another little bush in this corner. And behind this rock, just add a little more dimension. We'll use some color for that too. There's some more over here. Let's get a few more tree branches. These trees. So we can see that this is where another layer of forest is right here. Right? Get some of that colored in back there. All right, we're getting there. Almost done. Gotta work this green off my brush so I can put my finishing touches on it. Okay, I'm gonna come back with some of that, get that cloud a little better that I had at the beginning. Just kind of show another layer back there, right? And although I did not see hardly any wildlife when I was there at Yosemite, I'm gonna add a little. I'll have to pretend there's a little bird up here, right? Don't know if we can see it. Doesn't look like a bird though. Looks like I messed up. So let's paint over that. Okay, let's add a little more structure to the base of this tree. Same with the other side. tree I just added. Just trying to round out all the points that'll pop when I'm looking at it. Maybe if I bring it a little closer, maybe I'll see it better. All right. Just adding it in the light. You know, that's why you put light on top of a painting, because that's the direction of the sun hits it. And that's what, when we paint, we try to imagine the brightest part of the picture at a certain spot. So just be shifting it back into the light. You can see how that really pops. For a second, you were losing that in the shade from the tree above me. Yeah, but that's starting to pop. And this guy's in the way too. Man, doing a lot of moving around. I'm not used to painting outside, at least on camera. This is a new thing, so I know moving around is not ideal, but I gotta make sure I get this right. All right, let's get some of the layers back here. So the back side of this little bush is gonna have some more color to it, right? Same here in this corner. All right, get everything laid out the way I like it. Now I just gotta make it look the way I want it to. And by doing that, I'm going to bring in some new colors we haven't used yet, which I think it needs some orange to make it pop a couple of spots. At least give it the color I want. That's going to be on the inside of this tree trunk. Right there on the mountain. Add a little more white to that. Didn't work. A little more white. That definitely doesn't look good. Need to bring that brown back in ASAP. I just don't know if I like that tree branch going across the center of my painting. That looks like a zigzag pattern. Maybe this is the end of the tree branch there. Maybe that'll help. And then add some of the darker wood, maybe. I said I was going to finish up soon a minute ago, and I haven't yet. Sometimes you can keep painting, and just muddle it, and I feel like I'm muddling part of it right now. I just not too sure about that part. I think what we need is a different colored brown. It looks better already, right? I knew something was off. All right, so that's right. So that helps add that darker color brown because it was kind of getting similar to that. Those rocks. Now we can't have a rock and a tree the exact same color. That'd be weird. All right, so let's add a little bit more sunlight to the mountain, and then we're done. Hope I don't fall into a trick where I think it's getting dark just because of this. I'm standing in the shade here. All right, maybe we just add a little more water. They don't know that it's winter time, right? We can just get a little more water coming in. Who wouldn't mind a stream coming through here? I think that's what we were missing. There's too much rocks. Let's get some water flowing. So if you go to Yosemite in the wintertime, there won't be this much water, but in my painting, there is. There we go. Now it's looking more fun. We got a little bit of water in there, yeah. And it's going all the way down. Splashing down here. All right, that's more fun. That's what we're talking about now. Okay. I don't know how the video turned out. I don't know if you can see all of what I'm doing. But I'm going to wrap it up here. A little more greenery right here, right? Just by the base of that tree. What if I added just a tad more shadow underneath that water? It's coming down. All right, that's all she wrote, folks. That's my Yosemite Waterfall. Thanks for watching. Where am I going to sign this? make a bright signature, shall we? There we go. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my painting of a waterfall from Yosemite National Park. Don't forget to subscribe. What else do you have to do? You have to like, share, and comment. All those things would help me start this channel off great. If you have an idea of what I should paint next in my next Painting California video, just comment down below. Thanks for watching.